This is just horrific beyond words. We were huddled in a room down with the windows right outside of there. This was our kitchen. Door flew off, all the contents are gone. That's the front of our front door we can't get out of. We finally got out of the side door. That's somebody's couch full over here. It's a big couch. All those were roofs you can see there. They're just gone.
I mean, can you imagine? This is what it's like living through a Category 5 hurricane. Are you looking at the remains of a couple's home in Acapulco, Mexico, after Hurricane Otis made landfall back in October of 2023? Pravato and Patty Kearney-Pravato, thanks for joining us, you guys. I appreciate you being here. What a mess, you guys.
What was the question?
I'm sorry. This is the. I was just looking at the video coming in that you guys shot right after the hurricane hit, but that's the second major atmospheric event you guys went through, right?
Yeah, we had the earthquake, 7.1 earthquake, 3 weeks after the house.
In 2021, we had the 7.1 earthquake, and then of course Otis, and then the year after Otis was Hurricane John, around the same time as Helene was hitting, which was about 30 inches. So that re-devastated Acapulco just a year later.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. And we sympathize with you with these videos that you're sharing with us. Al, from my understanding, you love weather and you actually were tracking Otis as it got closer. So tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I run a local group for English-speaking foreigners, so to speak. And so I do weather updates because I grew up in Florida, so always tracking tropics. And Otis was supposed to be just a tropical storm and passing, so I was tracking it like I always do with any storm, like Barbara and Cosman now, and I posted to my group. And so Otis, I remember at 9 p.m. when it started getting a little dicey, it was a Category 4, but it said it would make landfall somewhere around Zihuatanejo, like 7 a.m. Of course, we might be dodging a bullet, but stay vigilant. At 10 p.m., the update came out, and it was like Category 5, and we had 30 minutes. So I sent a note out to the group. It's about 300 plus people, and a lot of them said it saved their lives. We had no warning from anyone or anywhere, nothing.
We took the dogs and went downstairs and hid under the staircase for 5.5 hours.
It was terrible.
Wow. Listening to all this.
I mean,
we had friends right there that were in the 20th floor. It blew out their windows over the beach and their front door on the other side, and they were under their dining room table. And then Tom and Perrin, the chandelier fell down and hit him, so he sustained some injuries. They're fine, but it was just crazy.
I mean, I'm looking at that just for perspective. This thing gained 120-mile-per-hour winds in 24 hours. And for explosive development, rapid intensification, they say it's 35 miles per hour in 24 hours. This thing gained 120. So, Patty, let me ask you this. Where are you guys right now? Were you able to rebuild? Because that looked pretty bad with the video that you guys are sharing with us.
We rebuilt that house and sold it. I just couldn't live there anymore. I just love the city. I love the area, but the weather is just too much for me. That hurricane was just too traumatic. So we went to the other side of the country. We're on the Gulf now here.
And I understand that you're now you monitor the hurricanes. You got the winds that are coming out of the north that you guys are battening down the hatches for as well during the winter, right?
That's the winter nortes, they call them here. It's equivalent to a Category 1 or 2 hurricane. It's the winds, and we're right on the beach, so you get all that sand hitting you, and that hurts when that sand comes across and hits you. It gets all in the house, and it's just constant, one right after the other. Very high winds. It's the craziest phenomenon. I've never heard of it until we moved to it. Those cold fronts that move across the U.S., we get the back end of them, and they just come right from the north.
Yeah, that's Norte season is November through February, so hopefully you're out of that. But now we start looking over towards hurricanes. You guys are living right now in Mexico. Where did you live originally in the United States?
In Tampa, Florida is where we moved when we moved to Mexico. When we retired, we were in Tampa. Most of our lives were in Florida.
So you were not any stranger to hurricanes by any stretch?
No. In our first year in Mexico, actually our second year in 2020 in October, we were in the Playa del Carmen area, and we had 3 hurricanes in 2020 make close to a direct hit,
In October.
that was when they had the Alpha, Beta, Delta.
Yeah.
So we went through that too, but
The
there was
highest there was the Category 2, I think. That's launched.
So it sounds like you guys are a bit more familiar with hurricane season and everything that comes with it. You talked about moving to the Gulf side in Mexico. Am I correct? What do you guys have planned for this upcoming season, or how have you guys kind of changed your plans as opposed to what you were dealing with back in 2023 in terms of your prep plan?
Yeah, the one thing, we always thought in Acapulco, the earthquakes were the biggest risk because in the history of Acapulco, they never even had a Category 1 make landfall. And of course, we got a Category 5.
Yeah.
In Veracruz, so we did the research. It's not really an earthquake phenomenon here, a little bit, but not much. But they have had 2 hurricanes. I think Carl was the last one, Cat 3 in the neighborhood. But all bets were off after Otis, right? You have no hurricane in history, then get a Cat 5. So we'll be watching the tropics very closely. You think in your head, like, if a hurricane comes, it's got to cross Yucatan, and then it usually hooks, to the north. But basically, anything can happen. Like with Carl, it hooked down, not north.
Yeah, anything can happen, like a 7.1 earthquake as well. You guys, man, you've lived through it the last couple of years for sure. I'm so sorry that happened to your guys' house and you had to move for sure. But thanks for sharing your story with us on Fox Weather, you guys. That's Al and Patty. Thank you so much, you guys. And good luck this hurricane season, man. Fingers crossed.
But